This video, what I'm going to do is fix this directional switch because it's moving more and more, and I'm just afraid that one of these days it's just going to totally break off. This happens to be a 70 Chevelle, but this is the same directional mechanism that they used, Chevrolet used, I don't know, maybe back to 1957 and all the way up to 70, and who knows how far up after that. But anyway, in order to get at the switch, we'll have to take the horn assembly off, and we'll have to take the steering wheel off and get to the mechanism that works the directionals on either side, one way, the other way. But see, it has a lot of slop in here, so there's something definitely wrong. Okay, the first part is to get the horn off. So here are the screws to take off the horn. So there's 2 on each side. And you'll see that they're just a Phillips screwdriver. Don't lose them. And here comes the assembly. And you just pull this out, and this goes inside. And we'll show you where it goes to get the horn to work. Okay, the next thing we want to do is take the nut off. So that's 7/8. That comes out pretty easy. Okay, now sometimes you can get lucky. Well, wait, before we do that, there's a little notch here and there's a little notch there. So, on some cars, they don't have that. So, I bought myself a little bit of white nail polish. And I just put 2 little marks there so I know exactly what it is. Now, sometimes you can pull and whatever, it'll come off. Sometimes you can put this nut on. You do it like that so you don't damage it. Sometimes you can put a little pressure on it and tap it. Okay, this one's not going to come off, so we're going to have to get a puller. So, since I tell everybody not to loan out your tools unless you label them, because people have a tendency not to bring them back, and I don't really feel like going out to the auto parts store and renting a puller. So, since I've been doing this forever, I made my own long time ago. All it is a metal bar, 2 holes, and I have a series of bolts that go with my little kit. Either metric, we know they're not metric. Okay. That was for my Mercedes. These are fine threads, so that one doesn't fit with the fine, but I have coarse bolts, and the coarse ones fit. Right ones. So there's 1, and there's 2, and they just go right in the holes. Just happen to be 1/2 inch. There you go. Tighten them up just a little bit. It's a crude type of operation, but it works fine. Okay, now that we got our steering wheel off, let's take the plate off. And it's just 3 Phillips screws. Just been on for a long time, that's all. And then now there's a little ring here, the spring clip, that we'll have to take off. We'll have to press this down and just work that off. So let me get a small screwdriver so we can do that. Okay, I hope you can see this. This is spring loaded, and here is the little clip. Now they do have a tool where you put it on and push this on, but I don't know, I have yet to use one. Let me just push this down here. So just work it around, work it around. And there. Okay, so now that it came loose, so there's your spring clip. There it is. And you'll see here the ridges, they're all equal except for the top one. It's double the size. And here comes your horn. This thing from the horn goes in here and makes contact with this metal piece here, which in turn makes contact with this. So as the steering wheel is turning all the way around, it's constantly, as you can see here, making contact with this little button here. And that is what, when you press the button, when you press the horn, electricity goes through here and it's making contact with here, and then that is how you get the horn to blow. See, and you'll see these are one width, and then the top one here is twice as much. So this thing can only fit in one location. Alright, the next thing we're going to take off is my directional lever. There's the screw. Okay, and then we have, well, let's just take this one out. Okay, there's one. Here's two up here. And then we just have to move this. And then that gives us access to the third one. Okay. Oh, I didn't take this out before, so this is what gives you the spring action under this. Oh, didn't. Forgot to take our four-way flashers off. We're going to have to disconnect the cable way down on the bottom. So let's do that first, and then the whole thing will come out. So I need access to the bottom of the column. Since this car has air conditioning from the factory, there's two screws on this side, two on the other, and then these other two screws here, and we'll take all this plastic down. Alright, this is what's underneath all the plastic. Well, these are just tachometer and speaker cable. But here's what we're looking for right here. If you move this back and forth, you'll see this guy moves back and forth. So we'll just lift that off its bracket, and that way we can get it away, and it will be easy for us to separate this. I loosened these bolts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we did 2 of these, and that gives us a lot of room here, mobility. The next thing we have to do is take off this connector, lift up this tab, I can't do this one hand. So once I lifted up this little tab, I was able to separate. Alright, now we can know this is the right way because we move this comes out. So it's, this is all connected. So let's fish this up through here. So what I end up doing was taking this bracket totally off, and it'll make it a lot easier for me to fish this connector all the way up through the steering column. In fact, what I'm going to do to make this easier for myself is I'm going to tie a string on there. Okay, so what I did is I tied a string on here, in case I have trouble feeding it back. Okay, so now it'll come out. Let me make some operating room. I'll take the tachometer off. 5/16. There's 4 of these. Alright, that's 4 screws. Okay, so now we have to take this lock off. So, way in here. I'll show you this after I get it off. There, I think it goes now. Nope. So in this slot here, there is a little like push button that connects onto the cylinder, and that's what releases it out of the, but it's not one of these very friendly. Easier said than done type jobs. More are probably lucky. Okay, I think I need a smaller screwdriver. Okay, I'll try this pick tool. Okay, see, so it's this thing right here. You gotta push this down to get it past that slot. See, that's the only thing, and then it just slides right out. There it is. So then we'll just connect her a little bit over here and here. You just have to work it all the way through. Now, once again, I told you I put a string on here so that when I go put it in, I can tie the string and just slowly feed it back through, just in case I have troubles. But it's easier to do this now than later on. So here we go. Here's the whole thing with the connector. And I can get the steering column out. It'll come, but I need to take off the ignition switch here. This is a little rod that comes up all the way through here that won't let this part disconnect. I'm going to set the camera down because I can't do everything, can't hold it all, but I'm going to. There's two screws that hold this, the ignition switch to the column itself, and then I'll be able to take this rod, disconnect the rod, and I can pull out the rest of this assembly. I put the steering column back up with just one bolt, just so it stays. Now remember, I disconnected the switch. Then on the gear itself, since it hasn't had any grease on there in 51 years, guess it wouldn't hurt. I'll just put a little bit of wheel bearing grease on here. Work it back and forth a little bit. Put some on this collar here. Okay, now we can install this again.